Ready, Sammy's cued. Mics are off. And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. Okay, when I say look at the camera, that means we're about to go live, and people are expecting. Not you busy over there playing your game. Hello.
I'm not playing games. I'm looking for things.
Things? All kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm actually getting my iPad, and I'm changing
we don't
the
have
internet.
a charger for that. Wait a minute, I'm gonna have to go get a cable for that.
Well, you can do it later.
Yeah, like in the middle of the show.
Sure, because I've got about 20. How much battery do I have left on the 27%? So we're playing Russian roulette here with the iPad.
No, we're not.
No, we're not?
No.
Okay, well, let me put it.
I knew I had this special cable.
I got to go Wi-Fi, and I've got to put it on Sammy's deal here.
Sammy's deal.
Golden pink. It's not golden pink. I want Sammy's cave, right?
Yes.
Okay, see, I needed that because I have to come back here to this.
Folks, we'll be right with you. We really appreciate you joining us this afternoon, this evening. I apologize that we're not quite ready, but
we've been on vacation.
We're never on vacation.
We're never on vacation.
I'm going to say, wait a minute. Did you go on vacation? I missed out?
Yeah, no, the people, they just see us with our computers, and they say, don't you people ever relax and have fun? I said, well, we got a good view while we're doing our computer stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
great.
define what's fun. Everybody has different ideas of what's fun. What's fun for us is to move the whole office onto a boat and do it from there.
That is fun. That's how we like it.
So yeah, I needed to get this because are we live here now? Are we saying hi to folks?
Yeah, well, more or less. I mean, some of us have been paying attention to what's going on.
Well, I can't see anybody. I just see this camera.
How many of you can't see anybody?
Well, I mean, they are out there, John, but I can't see them. So we're just pretending there's people there.
Are they really out there?
So I was trying to look.
We have 318 people, or at least that's what the counter says. Do you think they're really there?
I don't know. But anyway, if you're there, hello. Okay, so here's the deal. I know you guys love the old dead guys. I love the old dead guys. We're not being disrespectful, but there were some other artists besides Picasso and Renoir and Monet and those guys. There was a pile of them that all lived way back when.
And we're discovering a bunch of them.
And we're just going to introduce you to a few more. Tonight we're going to talk about a man named William Stanley Hazeltine.
Hazeltine?
Hazeltine, T-I-N-E. Could be Tine, could be Tin. I don't know. No, Hazelton. Anyway, Hazelton he was an American, and he went to Harvard in 1858. He went to Harvard. How cool is that? I mean, that's old school, isn't it? Got a degree in Harvard. He liked it. He was a landscape painter, and his first wife died in childbirth not long after he graduated school, and he married another gal, and they lived in Europe pretty much for the rest of his life. And his daughter married a Roman prince, and she was actually a princess.
Ooh,
how way cool is that, right?
That's very cool.
Because all dads call their little girls princesses, but she actually was one. So, I mean, there's some interesting stuff about him. He was a really fantastic landscape artist. We're going to do a 6x8 small little study of one of his landscapes, kind of talk about what was good about it. I'm going to show you how we're going to paint it. If you want to do it bigger, you certainly can. Just divide it into thirds the way I'm doing it. But, I picked this because it's not particularly hard, but it's charming. How's that? I thought charming was good. We do a lot of flowers, but sometimes it's fun to do that. So I'm just going to get, I'm done with old Hazelton here as far as the bio goes. You'll have to read about him in Wikipedia. But if you'll be so kind as to just put the camera down on the table.
On the floor.
You can see we've got this little kind of Italian village. He spent a lot of his time in Italy and in Capri and places like that. And then this little kind of old-timey boat, this little sailboat. We've got some the Alps back here and some mountains, and I mean it's pretty. And if you look at it, it's divided into, look here, 3, 3, and 3. See, like in thirds. See, yes, yes,
Wow.
and yes. So that's kind of neat. So we're doing it small, and here's the one reason. Some of you guys, you'll start these paintings, and listen, I know because you show me. So I know these things. I do not speak out of the side of my mouth here. I know this to be true. And what you do is you start off with, I have a 30 by 40 painting. I love the 6 by 8 thing that Ginger painted. I'm just going to go do it 30 by 40. If you do that, you better go find his original, because I'm not giving you enough information in a 6 by 8 to paint it larger. You can go 8 by 10, maybe even 16 by 20. You try to go bigger than that, then you better find what he painted, because the bigger you go, the more detail you got to put into the picture to make it work, okay? And also, do it small first and try to figure out how to do stuff. Somebody wrote me the other day and said that, because we do personal art coaching in our art academy, and they wrote me and they said, I knew I needed to change something in my picture, but I was afraid I'd ruin it. You guys, did you forget? We're painting with acrylics. When it's dry, you can do anything.
Just
All right,
paint
you
right
ready
over
for
it.
this?
Are you kidding me? You did that right in front of me?
I did. Because it's dry, you can do anything. So
Do you want me to
I
take that over to
mentioned
the
this.
sink and wash it off?
Well, you don't have to take it to the sink and wash it off. First thing I'm going to do is just scrape up the excess paint, all right, like that. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe most of it off. It may not work, in which case I know how to paint it again. Okay?
Okay, so that kind of is shooting the whole theory down.
Well, I think you're all afraid you're going to ruin something. I mean, this is the message that you're telling me, right?
I am so glad I gave you those paper towels. That's not what we discussed we were going to do with those.
I know. Now
Last
look.
time we give them to you, and the accounting department's not happy. I hear already.
Okay. All right, the Alps got tinted a little bit, but not bad, right?
I kind of like that tinting. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, now that, you guys, is just water and a paper towel.
The key is, though, to get it off while it's wet.
Oh, yeah, so if you don't like it, tie it. If you don't like it, get it off. If it's dry, it's going to come off. Now, of course, I'm using...
No, wait. If it's dry, it's going to come off. I don't think it's the correct sentence.
Well, what I mean by that, John, for those of you who seem to be verbally challenged, is just, let me explain it to you.
Let's make sure we fully understand. Let's make sure we're on the same sheet of music here.
Sure. Okay. We're painting, but listen, whatever. Okay, so I've got a little tub of towels here, an extra one I'm going to wipe my hands with, get the red off. A little harder to get it off my fingers. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
This is done by professionals.
This is professional acrylic paint. This isn't this cheap student grade stuff that's going to come off when you do that, And it's had about a week or so to dry. It's dry. It's good dry. A hair dryer would have dried it. But, I mean, I've actually, in a fit, just taken my whole painting over under the faucet, when I'm having one of my artist temper tantrums. Do you ever have those?
You? Of all people? No.
No, if we all get there. You're going, this is not working. So, really, acrylics are so great because you can do save as. Just dry them. That's your save as, you guys. Dry them. And you're not making a mistake because you can paint over it or you can put it and wipe it off and it's something else, right? And you're fine. So the idea that you have to sweat this stuff is that be brave enough to just change something if you don't like it.
Just go for it.
Just go for it, okay? And you
Just
saw
do
that
it.
was, red's a pretty strong color. Weren't you just all horrified when I did that?
I certainly was.
I know you were. And, I really pretty much thought it was going to work that way. I wasn't 100% sure. But just from my professional judgment, I kind of thought so, right? So there we go. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, you're so cozy and cute.
But you've moved things over
I have
here.
moved nothing. Did you see me move anything? You guys were all watching?
What Chester and that bear did then.
Okay, so here's the deal. Now that you're totally... Come on, this was the price of admission, wasn't it? Watching me do that? So please
pay so
subscribe
much.
to this. Please subscribe.
That's worth a subscription right there, people.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Subscribe to our channel. Come join our Facebook club, Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club. It's fun. We love to have you. And come check out what we're doing. It's always fun. And you want the latest news about what John and I are up to. You know, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We always kind of post stuff over there on our Facebook page. The other day we posted this hysterical questionnaire that people filled out.
I don't think it was hysterical. I think it's very serious.
It was serious, but people had so funny. You know, we talked about sock folders. I'll have to tell you with this. My favorite quote was, because I had posed the question, I am or am not a sock folder because, and everybody wrote, you know, we probably got 200 people that commented on our Facebook page, and this one lady wrote, and I'll tell you as I go, okay, because I'm putting the paint out. So this, I don't think I want any naphtha crimson, but I did want some cad red medium. So this one lady wrote, and she said that sock folders, for those of you who aren't in on our jargon, there's what we've discovered is that there's people that are extremely neat in their personal lives. When the socks come out of the dryer, they fold them. This is not a bad or good thing. This is just their personality. Some people might call it type A personalities, but I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think you can be a type A personality and still not fold your socks. So for me, sock folders are people that, you know, take the time to do that. And then, and non-sock folders are people that just throw them in a drawer, maybe just buy one color, or, you know, just keep them in the basket and fish around until they find some socks, or they don't wear socks, or they just don't stress themselves out over it. And others, you know, have just, you know, spent a long time. So this one lady wrote, and she said she used to be a sock folder, but then she considered it. And as you see, we're putting out colors as I go. We're talking about that. You can kind of see what I'm doing, right? And there's some burn umber. And she said, and this is my favorite quote, she goes, well, I just started dumping my husband's socks in his drawer, unsorted. And he said, what are you doing? And she goes, it's okay, Ginger said I could do it. I just want a caveat here. I don't remember giving people permission to just go nuts.
Crazy.
To go nuts. I never said that. I'm just saying that I don't fold socks. Just saying that, right? John, however, does fold socks. So, you know, and I'm not, and I love it. I tell this story on Cinnamon, which was so funny. When she and her husband were first married, my daughter, her husband came to me and said, Cinnamon keeps throwing away my socks. And I said to her, are you throwing away John's socks? And she goes, well, I'm not picking them up. He must think they're trash if he leaves them on the floor. So, so I said, you know, you probably want to, you know, not being a sock folder myself, there's kind of a line you don't want to cross here. You know, you don't want to go point, you know, probably, anyway, she stopped doing that. I thought that was funny. It's the funniest story. But anyway, those are kind of lines you probably don't want to cross. But, I mean, I kind of get, my mother used to say, and I think it was very true, I'm getting a little burnt sienna. I didn't put out a card for it, but you're with me if I do it, right? I'll put it right next to the burnt umber. She said there isn't enough money in the world to pay people to pick up after you, but actually that's probably not true. I think there are people that have enough money and people just come around and pick up after them. Probably not in my lifetime, and certainly you don't. It's a good way to antagonize the person you're living with. So why try that? Don't you think I'm pretty good, John, about picking up?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
It's just closing.
I don't close cupboard doors. For some reason, Cinnamon doesn't either. And some years ago, this was like 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, right? Cinnamon was living at the houses and going to college, and this young man had come up from, this is before she met her husband, had come up to spend some time with us at our house and meet the family. And he looked at her and he said, neither you or your mom close any cupboard doors. Is that some sort of weird thing with your family? And I guess we still do it. So
still do it. I can follow the path of where she's been, what she's done, and it's just great.
Well, you know, I think it probably was that when her dad and I, Cinnamon's dad and I built our house, a house in California, and we built it ourselves. You know, we designed it and built the whole thing ourselves. I mean, we had a little help with some things, but not much. And we ran out of money by the time it came for the kitchen cabinet, so we just had shelves, so we didn't have any.
So you want to go back to those days, apparently?
Well, no, I'm just saying that we just never had any.
We can certainly take off all the cabinet doors.
We never had any cupboard doors. We had one great big pantry that we put stuff in that had some doors, but other than that, we didn't have any. And by the time we sold the house
You still didn't
And-
have any.
No, we actually put in a kitchen, full kitchen first. Why is it you do that for new people? You put in the new stuff for the new people.
I wouldn't do that.
I know.
Because you
And
probably
listen,
wouldn't put in the
I
right
want to
stuff.
I want to whine a little bit. Can I whine?
You want some cheese with it?
No, I just want to whine.
Okay, go ahead.
I want you to know that I read all comments. If I don't always get a chance to answer them right away, I read all comments. I read it, right?
So be
I
careful
read
what
it.
you write.
Yeah, and that's fine. And also, then, if you're doing live chats, if you have a question, be sure to put it in cap letters. That's just sort of a side point here, as long as I'm thinking about reading comments. This is-
Sidebar.
yeah, whatever. And we're doing this on 6x8. I'll rant in a minute. I'm thinking about my rant. I might have more than one rant. That'd be good, right? I could have 2 or 3 rants.
You never know.
You never know. All right, so I'm going to turn this like this, and so y'all can y'all see this?
They can if I zoom out a little bit.
Can you zoom out a little bit? Sorry, I've got this little 6x8. It's just some ultramarine blue, and we've got these nifty pencils that Robin Coate so kindly gave me, and these are the soft pastel pencils, which are race. And I want to go up about 3 fingers, which is about 1/3, and kind of do a line across here like this. Okay, and then I want to come up,
Another
not quite
3
that,
fingers.
probably about 2.5 fingers. 2 fingers and a little finger. And come over not quite half and just do some mountains over here like this. And then come this way, and this one is about 3 up here. This side's a little higher. And so what is the name of this painting? I'm just going to tell you that. It's called Largo. Oh, isn't that cool? Largo, come on, don't disappear on me, you. Maggiore. And it was, again, done in the late well, he died in 1900 of pneumonia, so it was sometime in the 1800s. Guy went to Harvard in 1858, so sometime between there. When he went to Italy, he painted this. And then we've got, back here, we've got the Alps kind of showing. Now, if you remember the painting we did before, which was Springtime in the Alps, you guys remember that?
I do.
And that's another one that would kind of be pretty with this. And that was a different painter. And I think I am going to just bring up the hill a little bit here. Okay. I like these pencils, by the way, and they do erase. Okay. So that's kind of how we've divided out the picture. So what we're doing is we're going to make the sky darker at the top and then lighter as it comes down to the Alps. Okay, everybody's with me on that? All right. So, and I'll rant in a minute. And I'm thinking, I have to, a lot of things. Any questions before I start ranting?
Only for me. What's the one color under the red that you haven't put out yet?
What? Oh, magenta?
Okay.
I didn't put that out, and I didn't put out mixing white. I'm just,
Right.
and I did put out this burnt sienna, which I do have. Oh, if you guys like these are Avery labels. If it's if you want our template form, just write us. It's free. Happy to send you. You have to buy your own labels, but there you go. It's not Australian sienna. What was
And I'm
it?
afraid they're not for the European market.
Really?
Yeah, we tried to figure out how to do it, and they just.
Well, you must be, here's what we did. You'll just have to suck it up and type your own paint colors in, right? But, you can buy these kind of labels. They're address labels for like envelopes, right? And they go in your
Yes.
printer. And so then what you have to do is then when you get you're going to have to make your own template. We'll just save you the trouble if you want. I would do it better now. I would do
yeah,
it in
we definitely do it
alphabetical
differently.
order. We have like 3 sets of the paint on here, But I would also have a couple that I left blank so that I could write something in, too.
Yeah, sometime when we're bored, we could create some new ones.
Yeah, we've been working on the book, but we're still going to do that.
Book? What book?
We've been working on our acrylic book. All right, so I want a little bit of burnt umber. I didn't put out raw umber, too, and I was going to, and then I vacillated. And why one...
Why would one vacillate on that?
Well, I don't know. I did.
Okay.
I did vacillate, though. So here it is, raw umber. That's going to go that's a transparent color. That's going to go right next to the burnt umber over here. All right. We're going to put just a drop in there of the white, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, a little bit more. Ultramarine blue. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to just come up here like this, paint over this dark color like that. And my brush is damp and not wet, okay? And I want a little bit darker, a little bit of little bit darker up on top, okay? Up here, let's see, a little bit bluer. That's too much brown. Okay, a little bit darker, and then as I come down lower. I'll come down in here like this with the light color. Here's a little white. And then what I want to do is just blend these colors together. So what you do is you kind of wet the brush, wipe it off. You with me?
So
And
far,
then just
smooth them in together.
just to kind of smudge them out here. You know, you can do that. Here's a little bit of blue. So we're just going to say there's our sky. A little bit more color. So the lightest color, this is sort of a, you know, like, did you get those rules in grammar, I before E except after C when you were learning how to spell and stuff? Well, pretty much you can take to the bank is that the sky gets lighter as it gets toward the horizon, unless it's a big storm. So you always want the sky to be the lightest down toward your mountains and then darker as it comes up. Does that make sense? And if you need to, you know, you can always go back and add, ooh, see, too much paint. You can add a bit more paint. I'll just rinse that off the brush now because that's too much. And here, I'll put a little white with that. Too much. There we go. All right. Well, you just got to know how much paint to put on the brush. And that, I can only tell you, comes with practice. Once you see that, it comes with practice. So there's my, you know, sort of my lighter down toward the, toward our hills. And I'm going to even add a little bit. I want it even lighter than I've got it. Okay? So I'll just sort of do that. Can always repaint the mountains in, okay? And then I'm going to take a little bit of white paint while this is still wet, okay? And I'm going to just come across here like this, sort of zigzag it, and keeping the brush very flat, okay? Zigzag in some, just some clouds like that. Okay, and there you go, and then maybe some lower ones. This is pure white paint over wet. See what's happening? And if you push too hard, they'll disappear, okay? Just kind of keep them out over this way. So there's my sky, and he had some way up here. I guess you could have some up there. I think it's kind of dumb to put them up there, but he did. So, well, you know, maybe they were up there in the sky, and he felt compelled. All right, so there you go. There's our sky. How simply fun was that, right?
Simply fun.
Simply fun. So now we know we've got some mountains in here. So let's take some purple and a little bit of yellow oxide, and a little bit of that blue color, and some white. A little yellow oxide, a little raw umber, a little bit of blue color, a little bit of white. All right, we kind of got this dark, a little more purple. I think I do want magenta. Here you go.
Hey, while you're grabbing that, Kim would like to know, when painting on a stretch canvas, do you sand the sides?
Only if you're going to paint the sides, Kim. Otherwise, you don't.
I'd only do it on a gallery wrap.
On a gallery wrap, you would.
Yeah.
You're only sanding the canvas so that you don't wear out your brushes. All right, put a little magenta in that. That's a little better. All right, so I want to come up here like this. Let's see, take a little bit more white to that. Here we go. Let's see, I'm going to actually add white on the canvas because I didn't get it white enough in the mixture. All right, I'm going to come up here like this and say, here's my mountains like that.
Linda Harvey, I will get back to your question when she dries.
Okay, yeah, we're going to answer that. So there's that. There's this sort of mountain color back here, okay? Now, please do not make sawtooth mountains like you saw in the cartoons. You know what I'm talking about,
But that's how we
you?
all grew up.
You know, don't do this, please. Just saying. Okay. Now, the next ones are going to be darker. We're going to take some burnt umber and ultramarine blue, and we're going to make these a darker. And this is a really, it's a nice trick because we already have the canvas is already painted, so it's going to be pretty easy to paint over this. A little bit of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And we're going to start up here like that and say, here's our dark mountains in front, right there. So we can be doing that and see how fast that just paints in, kind of going, woo, that's cool, right? This one's going to come in front of that one. So then you're going, well, then what do you do? Well, here's the thing. You can wipe the brush off while it's still wet. Take a little white and burnt sienna, kind of mix it up, a little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of white, okay? Now, let's take a little yellow oxide with that too. Let's kind of change that color, a little more yellow oxide. Okay, so now, I'm going to say that we've got some light areas, and I'm just tapping this in here, okay, on this cliff. Now, this is the secret. I'm tapping it into the dark paint, and I'm creating some hills. Do you see that? So you're leaving some dark spaces, like so. And when you start to pick, remember, it's like mopping a floor. You're picking up some of that dark brown as you go. We're going to come up here like this and say that's the lightest part of our hills. Okay, and then I'm going to come right in through here like that and say that's lighter between these hills. So see
Hey,
how I
we'd
put
like to
those mountains in?
thank Eric for his donation. Good to see you all back.
Oh, thanks, Eric. Thank you very much. Gosh, Eric is so supportive of us, and we thanks for the marvelous job, Eric, you did
ATC Challenge.
on the ATC challenge. Really appreciate it.
Love it.
Okay, really, really nice. All right, so you see how interestingly and quick that went in there with the mountains? Aren't you kind of amazed? You know, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse the brush. Touch the bottom of the container when you're doing it. Wipe it off like that. See, pinch it off. All clean. See that? All clean. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of burnt yellow oxide in raw umber, kind of a different color. And we're going to come up on this one and still doing the same tapping motion because this brown is still wet. We're going to suggest, you know, this is, I don't know what happened. Did they deforest everything over here? Or these are all kind of, wherever this place is, it goes kind of south in the, you know, in the summertime when the snow starts to melt. It's all these barren rocks. I mean, it's his painting, not mine. I'm just saying that's what he did. And let's put a little bit of burnt sienna with that.
And who's the painter again? What's his name?
His name was William Stanley Hazeltine. Let me put my glasses on again. Now you're asking me. Now I've got to read. Haseltine. Hazeltine. William Stanley Hazeltine. Okay? So again, we're doing sort of a kind of a simple version of his picture. If you did the entire
We're doing
thing,
a sketch to see if we want to do it big.
yeah, you're just doing a small version of this. You could do the whole thing big, but then again, if you're going to do that, Eric, then go find his picture. If you need me to send it to you, I will send you the copy of the original so that you can add all the details that we are leaving out. Fair?
Fair enough.
All right, so we're going to add a little bit. We're going to warm this color up in the front here. A little bit like that. A little bit more of the burnt sienna up here on the front. Okay, so far so good. There, ooh, that's a little red, but that's all right. So that's all we're doing there. Now, in the meantime, this is dried. So again, a lot of rinsing of the brush here, aren't there? Lots of rinsing of the brush.
Well, you're changing your colors a little bit.
Yeah, so now I want to put the snow on, okay? So, I think part of me wants some blue here. Someone wants some sort of pale gray blue. Now, how do you make a gray color? Ultramarine blue, cad red medium, and white make a beautiful gray. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yes you did. Did you forget? Well, people forget, so that's all right. So ultramarine blue, white, and cad red medium make this really good gray color, okay?
They're pretty gray.
And if I put a little magenta in it, even would turn give it a little bit of a purple tinge, which is pretty. So now I want to come up here like this and put some of this color in here like this, and particularly wherever it's going to be kind of dark here. So I'm putting a little bit here. Left some of that dark color I just did, and added. This is usually you want like a 3-tone mountain. How's that? Just like a 2-tone car, a 3-tone mountain. Yeah. Yes and yes. Okay. 3-tone mountain. There. Now let's take some white paint and let's let it snow on here. Okay, this stuff back here, I'm just tapping it on with the edge of my brush, leaving some of the white, or rather some of the dark. I'm leaving it, I'm just saying in here like that. I want to make sure that I've left some of these colors. You know, wherever there's a dark, there's a light. Here, let's give it a big glacier right here. You want to leave some of the brown colors. That's the rocks where it hasn't melted. Okay, so here we go like that. Here we go, there we go. Yes, all right. Voila, the Alps. Haha. Okay, good, right? Yes and yes? All right, so now what? What, can I answer a question?
Can you answer a question? Yeah, we had a question an hour and a half ago.
Well, I'm just working on this thing, you know. I'm just letting people see that, you know, kind of how simple this is to put this stuff in here, right? There really wasn't any snow on any of these. There might have been a little. I guess.
Well, here's a great question from Lisa Gale. How much paint does Ginger have on the brush while she is painting?
Lisa, not a lot. You'll see me put it on and wipe it off. Because if you've ever washed a brush, how long does it take you to get all the paint out? You can put paint on a brush, wipe it completely off on a rag, and you'll still have a whole bunch of paint. Okay? So there you go. I'm putting a little of this blue up here. Just up here. Maybe there's some dirty snow up here. And just a touch, right? Back up in there. All right, now.
Okay, now here's one I think you might want to touch on again. We have a lot of new viewers on here.
Hi, new viewers. Ha!
Pay attention. What's the
Squirrel.
difference between mixing white, titanium white, and zinc white? And what
Okay,
is mixing
titanium white is like a barn door. You can't see through it. Okay, mixing white and zinc white are like wax paper. You can kind of see through it. It's translucent, a little more translucent. There's a school of thought is that mixing white is part zinc and part titanium, but zinc, they're pretty much interchangeable, the two. Liquitex and one other brand make something called mixing white. Golden and some others make zinc white. Zinc white is a very common white in oil paints. How's that? What a great explanation.
Does Ginger have an ATC card that she would sell for us all? No, she hasn't done one.
I haven't done one, but I will do one. All right,
She's all
you see
excited
I've
about
got a
doing
little
one.
bit of purple here and then kind of a little bit of, I'm going back in here with a little bit of that purple color and a little bit of that yellow.
Where are you heading to next?
I'm going to come right here, down here. I want to do a little bit of a bank down here where my town's going to be. I'm going to come under here like this and do a little bit of a bank down in here in the water like this and come along underneath my mountain. And incidentally, if I find that the paint isn't painting, then I get more paint. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is a great question. What did the ODGs, old dead guys, use for glazing?
Oil painters, the same stuff they use today, whatever, the oil, they're famous for, that's all oil painters do is glaze. So, that's the same glazing mediums that they use today, whatever they're using, I don't know, I have to ask Daniel that when he shows up. I don't know, because I don't paint with oils, but they've been glazing forever. That's their thing.
And she wants me to tell Ginger that she looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ooh, I'll take that. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and where'd you get your shirt?
Oh, I got the shirt on Amazon. If you go to our Pinterest, my Pinterest board, Ginger Cook Live on Pinterest, and you go down here, products I recommend, there's a link, direct affiliate link to the shirt. And I've got one in blue. I really like it, and they're nice and roomy and big. I bought a really cool art shirt the other day, and it was same size as this. It was too small. So
Different cut.
different cut, just a little gamble, I suppose. All right, so I want to put start putting the water in, okay? Now his water was more in the green tones, and so that's where the phthalo blue comes in, and the yellow oxide to make this sort of, and then a little bit of magenta, makes this really sort of deep green. Now, can you see how this beautiful green is? And we're just going to come across here like that, put our first layer of green in. That was phthalo blue, yellow oxide, and magenta. And that is our first, and I'm just going, the brush strokes are going back and forth. That's a pretty color, isn't it?
It's an
So
interesting
phthalo
color.
blue, yellow oxide, and a touch of magenta. And there you go. That's a really pretty color. Now, and it's just going right over the dark blue background, like that, taking it all the way off. Now, while there's, we haven't done any highlights because we haven't put our little town in, but if we put in a little bit of yellow oxide and white, for instance, I made a little bit of yellow oxide and white, and if you wanted to see what that would be like while it's still wet, I just want you to see that. Just come across here like that.
What'd you do there?
Just yellow oxide and white into this color.
That's kind of cool.
And just, you can see how it just sort of kind of lightens up something there. And because this is, and just coming this way with some greens in the water like that. It's just pretty, just kind of these long, this angle brush is so handy for something this size, 1/2 inch. And kind of use it on its edge like that. So that's probably our first step into the, adding a little bit of color to the water. I could come back up here with a little more yellow oxide, okay, and even do a little bit more because it's wet now, so it's going to go green on us, right? Everybody's with me, yeah? So perhaps the lake was a little greener there. I don't know. It's a pretty lake, almost like an emerald lake, isn't it? So a high mountain lake with this pretty colors. All right, we have to dry, and then John will answer some questions.
No, before you start drawing, there's a ton in here that's good for you.
Okay.
What can you use to substitute for raw umber? Ooh.
Well, listen, raw umber is what I call, it's what you're talking about. We're using raw umber to make the colors look ancient, and I'm also using it as a unity color. And
what's the unity
so you
color?
can use it as unity color. If you put a little raw umber and everything and then leave it out afterwards, that color is a bit brighter. It's sort of interesting. We didn't put any raw umber in this water because I wanted it to seem a little bit brighter. But, Payne's Gray, you can use the opposite of a color on its color wheel to tone something down too. So, for instance, yellow tones down purple, purple tones down yellow, that kind of thing. Okay?
Olivia would like to know, how did you decipher what color background canvas to use?
Well, in this case, you can see from the picture that I needed a dark background and probably could have used anything, but blue was very handy. So blue we did. Blue it is. See?
Color under the color.
Yeah, so color under the color, but you could just use gray, dark. It depends. You do want to color it with something, and you need something for your acrylics to stick to, and you're building up layers.
Oh, now
Okay?
you're going to do something.
I am. I'm gonna.
But I still have questions.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that you use golden glazing medium. I have Liquitex glazing medium. Is that all right?
I guess I haven't used it. Do you like it? I don't know. You have to tell us. Do you like it? I don't know. Listen, I sort of cheated. Oh, how did you cheat? Well, I let Cinnamon go through all the products, and then I said, well, which one did you end up liking best? She
Yeah,
bought
he'll
them
be the
all,
guinea
right?
pig.
And she said, you're going to like this the best. You're going, you're right, I do. I really like it. Because if you go to my actual, on Pinterest, if you look at some of my real, giant paintings, I never used it. But I find it's very convenient. There's always better stuff. I'm all for the next best thing. I like it. It's very easy to use, and also if you're doing something big, it's nice. So I used to probably use just a matte varnish for glazing medium, and I like the satin glazing liquid that I really like what Golden makes. It's really nice.
What does Ginger use to rinse her brushes? A mason jar or something else special? And any thoughts on Pro Stroke brushes, the black-handled ones?
Here, this is what I use.
It's a 3-division.
Do you see where all the red paint went from the disaster earlier?
Oh, that was a disaster.
See, you saw it, and then this is still good.
Yep.
Though for years, until I found those nifty little things, for years I just used, some old little paint bucket or something for water. But I really like these a lot. I like those a lot. Those are very handy. I think they're very nice, and they've got a little rough on the bottom, so they kind of do it. The other thing was, one thing I used to use for years is that Bob Ross sold it. It was a screen. It was plastic coated, and they had a couple different ones, but you put it on the bottom about this big around, and you put it on the bottom of a bucket, and then you rubbed your brush on the screen, and all the pigment from the paint kept your water really clean. And all the pigment went down to the bottom, and so that your water always stayed much cleaner.
One of our viewers sent us that, and I don't remember who it was. It's one of the guys, I think, up in Maine.
Yeah.
And that's what he uses.
He uses, he
bottom.
pokes a hole in it, right?
Yep, that
and
sits
again,
on the bottom.
it's the same
Everything
idea,
sits through it.
and everything sits through it and it stays down at the bottom.
It just won't
Okay?
fit in our little buckets.
It doesn't fit in our bucket, but I mean, these are good ideas. I mean,
Yeah, I like that one.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Chris would like to know, what tricks do you have for doing wet-on-wet techniques when painting large?
Well, if you look at my wet-on-wet techniques for painting large, the biggest trick is use a bigger brush. When you use a brush that's commiserate with the size of what you're doing. This isn't even...
What was that word?
Commiserate.
Can you spell that, please?
No.
For 20 points.
So, basically...
Can you know what to start with?
C.
One out of K.
I don't know. Is that a K? Is that a kangaroo?
You're throwing these words out. In our house, if you didn't know how to spell it, you couldn't use it.
Well, no wonder you all were so illiterate.
I rest my case.
Man, nothing like stifling growth. Good God, John, really? I'm so sorry.
All right,
but
go
then
ahead.
He said, come on, you said, oh, never mind. We won't even get into your dad because his dad passed away, so we're going to try and be nice because he was a lovely person. But he certainly had some fun economics, right?
He did.
John was telling me tonight about his economics. He made his wife, he'd say, your half of the light bill just came in. Be sure to write me a check. Really?
Don't speak ill of the dead.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. So
I,
anyway,
I have to admit that, when Nancy told me that, I go, pardon? Say what now?
you did, yes. I'm sorry, your half of the light bill came in.
Oh.
Anyway, so a nice big brush. You want a nice big brush, yes, and use lots of paint and have an underpainting.
Underpainting's key. I mean, you
That's
got
underpainting. If you don't have an underpainting, you're just screwed because it'll just
layers and
drag
layers and layers.
And use good paint.
There you go. All
And
right.
there. So
You're not done yet. Oil painters use linseed oil to glaze.
that's true. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Nancy, not my Nancy, another Nancy, about pencils you're using. I like to draw my paintings on with canvas, but I have a problem with covering up the pencil marks when using light colors.
Well, look here. Look here. This is what she gave me. I mean, I use chalk. And you can also use, one thing you can do too is that just draw your whole thing out on a piece of paper, and then use transfer paper, like Sorel transfer paper, and then put it on there.
That's what I would do.
But
being a sock folder.
That's probably the
Proper way.
well, it's not proper, but it's probably the easiest way in the sense that you can do all your erasing on paper, then put, what you do, here's what you do. If you really want to know how to do it, okay. So, I mean, you sock folders out there, you're going to love this. So you sit around and you draw some stuff on a piece of paper. And then you take some tracing paper and you trace over the part of the design you like, and then maybe you're sure you like it. Then you trace it again, and you've got all the outline just the way you want it. And then you take the Sorel transfer paper after, decide, get your underpainting and all your background done. Then put that on there, tape it down, and then trace your image on.
Oh, I would do it that way.
That probably then you get everything just the way you want it. And if the reason you want to use tracing paper is then you can see where you want to position it. For instance, if you had done this little village here, then you just kind of move it around until you knew exactly where the village was then getting planted.
Well, it's kind of like the way you did the lady in the garden, the last one.
Yeah, you could do that, and then that's why tracing paper is very nice to have, a little tablet of that, okay? So we're going to come up here and we're going to do...
So you didn't really answer a question.
What? What was the question? I didn't. You sure?
I know. Can you believe it?
No.
She has trouble covering up the pencil marks when using light colors.
Well, I'm telling you, I told you to use chalk.
Or do dark colors. That would be the obvious answer.
Well, dark colors would be a lot harder to... You can't paint over pencil anyway. But look, I mean, this erases. Sorry, it erases. These are pastel pencils. I use Conti pencils. I use chalk, white chalk and pencils. All right, so I want to come up here and I want to make I'm going to make a little tiny house here like this. These are little people. Look at my fingernail. See that? See how little that is?
Don't go crazy.
So here's a little house here like that. House hay. Then we have a box. We're talking about boxes here. This is super simple.
Oh, you never did answer the pro stroke black handle brushes or the blue handle.
I don't know. I like...
We've used a couple of black handles before.
She gave us... I like the blue handles, the Bristol one, they're the fancy ones, right?
No. Now we're talking about
the Chirpus
Jerry's
brushes, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Jerry's brushes, not Cinnamon's, not...
Oh, Jerry's. Well, I don't know. Jerry's.
Okay, there you go. You heard it first, folks.
Well, what can I say? Jerry's... I always loved it when they would do a sale at their store. They'd have a $90 brush at 90% off, so suddenly, once a year, it was like $10. And then I was trying to think, well, what made it worth $90 the rest of the year? They never got me past. Sometimes it's too good a deal. Do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'm going, well, this must cost you about 10 cents to make if you're still making a profit at $10. And then the rest of the year you want us to spend $90 for this brush, right?
Yeah, it really makes you stop and...
I mean, people don't realize that when you're doing a sale, because women are pretty cool about sales. I got a little one over here, too. I'm just going to put a little house here. Okay. And then there's somebody in the background here.
Well, here's a good question for you. Ginger, this is from Joanne, what would you consider the star of this particular painting?
Well, I think it's really the star of this painting. I really think is the village. I mean, there's this sailboat here that sort of balances it out. It's not the sailboat;
Yeah,
it's
but
the
the sailboat's
village.
you've
Because
kind
your
of
eye
muted it
goes
back.
that you notice this sail is not white. You see, look at here's a white pencil. Now, if you made the sail white, then you'd suddenly move the star to the sailboat.
Because
But
he's in the foreground.
because it's in the foreground and it was pretty big. But we kept this village and its reflection as the star of the picture.
There you go.
All right, because we made this wider. Do you see what I mean? So you manipulate it with the colors. Okay. So now, all right. So you're going, well, what on earth did you draw here? Well, what I did, so you can see it bigger, because you're going, I don't know. I'd have to have a microscope to see what the heck this lady just did. But basically, what we're talking about is an arrow. Everybody's good with arrows, right? Little boop. Okay, there's a box, right? Here's a box. Two-tone box here, like that. Box, yes? Box. Behind it is another box. A little taller box. Think of shoe boxes with an arrow on top, okay? And then over here there was a Monopoly house. Don't you love the
Oh, I love Monopoly houses.
little Monopoly house here, okay?
The little green ones.
Yeah, and then here's another box. See? I mean, you can make up a box if you like, right? But basically all these things are boxes, okay? That's all these little houses are. In
Boxes
fact, they've
with
all
little-
been
little
going to
triangles on 'em.
architecture school for the same 1,000 million years, and everybody's made boxes of some kind, right? Then out on this end, there was another box coming this way here. And it was going back here, and there was a little island in front, and then back here there was something, and then there was something like this. And
So
to keep
basically,
it
you
level.
sketch this out. Now you can take tracing paper on top of this, trace out what you want, and then transfer it over.
Exactly. You just get it the right size, yeah. And
That's
as long
kinda
as
cool.
we're doing it, let's talk about this boat. Because the boat was one of these old-fashioned tiny boats that no one ever does anymore. So the sailboat is kind of an interesting triangle, right? And then you've got, and I changed his boat a little bit because I didn't like his. I went and found another old boat and did his. And then it came out like this and then up like this, and I put another sail here. Okay?
Did the one you have two sails?
The
that you
one,
found?
his boat was actually, which I did not like at all, because it didn't read as a boat anymore. I mean, if everybody had seen boats like this, it would read as a boat. So we haven't seen a boat like this in 100 years. You're going, what the heck is that? See, so you don't have to explain stuff. His boat was this, with the sail.
The square sail.
And that just didn't compute to me at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that there were boats like that, but, we're just, I mean, heck, you could put a Hobie Cat on here now and make it today. Just saying.
Now you're
right?
talking.
I mean, because this stuff's still here. They never throw anything away. Those guys, they don't tear it down and build it over. In America, we just, oh my God, this is so old. It's 20 years. Let's blow it up and make something else.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
We're just constantly redoing stuff. But anyway, that's how we're talking about painting it in.
I like how you did that with that pencil too.
Yeah, nice pencils. Thanks very much. I really like that a lot. So,
Robin,
now,
thank you very much.
Thank you,
you're our
Robin. We
hero.
really appreciate it. Somebody saw us struggling and thought, I can do something for these people. Poor sad slobs that just can't seem to get it together. All right, I got another little tiny brush here. This is what is this, John? The 1/4 inch, right?
I was going to say it looks like a quarter.
And I'm going to just, it's not damp, but I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to do white paint. And I'm going to go ahead and paint in my triangle like that. I think I will wet it and just reshape it, okay? And
To keep that edge.
yeah, I want to so keep the edge in here like that. So there's this little arrow up here, and then there's a little white house down here, and then there's a little A-frame like that, and then you were a little box right here.
While
you were a
you're
little
doing
box.
While you're doing that, can you tell us which brand of artist tape you use?
Yeah, it's called artist tape.
It's
Called artist tape.
It's actually called
And
artist
I've
tape.
actually got a video on YouTube on how to use it.
Really?
Yep.
Is it called artist tape? YouTube?
Called artist tape. In fact, the artist tape, people were loving it. They thought it was so nice that I did that for them. But, I've used it for years. When Cinnamon was in school, college, junior college, they weren't going to make the art class. So we went ahead and took the art class also so that she could make it. So they would still have it. Otherwise, they were going to cancel it because not enough kids signed up for it. And I got a couple of my friends, and we all went up there and took this art class from a gal by the name of Bonnie Newman. And I'd never heard of artist tape. And this is the thing about artists. We share information. I share information with you. We can all learn from each other. And that artist tape was a gold mine of marvelous stuff, right? Just so appreciated that. All right, so now what do we got here? We got this. So now straight down from here, I'm just going to take just straight down here, using this brush, an angle brush, straight down like this. I'm just going to bring some white going across here like that, just to kind of add to that. And then see, we know we've got some white coming under here like that. All these buildings have some reflections. And we're not getting too crazy with it, but we're saying that there's some reflections here like that. Just come this way. And you want to go right from the edge of whatever is reflecting, right? Like that. And I think he came down pretty far. We'll come down a little bit further. He did too. He had fun with this. His was really pretty. Reflected a lot of buildings. He had a few more than I'm doing. We're not going to leave them all this white, but this is. Let's take a little bit of white and yellow oxide now, and a tiny bit of the raw umber, and do some of that here too, because again, not all his buildings. We'll put some of that color places. Not, here's the side of it, and not all the buildings were.
Ask Ginger if she has the layered abstract lesson. Is that one, the one that you taped?
It's over there. That layered abstract lessons right there.
That's in the auction?
That's in the auction.
That's in the auction.
That's still open for bids. I don't think anybody's bid on this yet.
It was just fine by me. I like it. I'm tempted to keep
Our auction, but incidentally, our art auction, you guys, is ending today and tomorrow. If you haven't had a chance to, we staggered it. If you haven't a chance to look at the auction, there's some great values here, and buys on original artwork from me. But here's some examples of some abstract art that was done using artist tape.
Okay, now wait a second, because that just looks like nothing.
What?
Here we go. Well, all I had was one little square, because I'm so close on
Okay, all right.
There
So
we
you
go.
see that? Here were some examples.
I don't know if that's the
some,
one Tanya's looking for, but
yeah,
I think
I'm pretty sure these were a couple of them I did with artist tape and did abstract paintings with them.
I love those.
I think these make a great pair. Really pretty. Anyway, these are available to own if you want an original Ginger Cook piece of art. And we have some others too. Great pictures in our auction. Did we get any pictures out of the auction? While I'm doing the reflections, everybody can be kind of going, ooh, right? Cool, right?
Yeah, while you're doing that.
While we're doing that.
And then another question was, does a long-handled brush help you be loose?
No, the long handle brushes are designed for people that are farther away from the easel with their arms stretched out. I mean, I'm sitting up here with a small brush because I'm right over on a table. On long handle, I don't think it helps you be loose. No, not in the least. I don't see that it does help that. But there's nothing wrong with not long handle brushes.
That's another one.
Oh yeah, this was a wonderful YouTube lesson. If you guys haven't seen this,
that's a YouTube lesson.
That's a YouTube lesson.
Wow.
And this is, I think it's really pretty, and this is one of the pieces in our auction that's available for,
Now, again, we're not sure if it's still up there or not.
It may have sold. We don't know. Check out and see what's sold, because we don't know. We got back. Do you guys remember this one? It's another YouTube one that we did. Again, the original for this is available, or maybe it is. We don't. Go to, how do they get to the auction?
It's on the website. It's gingercookauction.com.
Gingercookauction.com. See if you can't snake a deal.
Snake a deal.
Yeah, well, why not, right?
Why not?
So, all right, I'm going to put my boat over here while you're doing that. There we go. It's about a finger's width below that. And the sail comes up here like this. Remember we talked about that, kind of this odd-shaped sail. And another one that's curving up here, a little shorter. And then we're going to have a little orange boat. But the reason I'm doing this now is because I want to have a little bit of the raw umber and the yellow oxide and white as the color of the sail. I want it a little bit older. This has got to be this part straight up and down. Remember, sails are attached to a mast, which is straight, okay? And then the back one has got a little bit of magenta in it. The back sail is a little warmer, and it's not quite. It's kind of curved like that. Okay, like that, okay? Here's our little boat here. And I'm just going to come down here with the reflections.
How long do you make reflections?
Well, generally, it just depends on the time of day, okay? So generally, reflections are a mirror of whatever you're seeing, but sometimes the time of day will cause them to look longer. Does that make sense? So generally, it would be as long as that sail, but
Did you ever have your rants and your whining with your cheese?
I have not done that yet.
Do you remember what you were going to rant about?
Oh yeah, I do. 'Cause
Oh,
I remember this comment. I'm feeling snarly.
You've been stewing it.
I have, because it really annoyed me. You know what I mean? I rarely get annoyed by comments, but this one really cheesed me.
Cheesed you?
Cheesed me off.
To go with your wine.
That's it. Okay, see if this will cheese you a little bit. All right, normally if we put up how long a video is on YouTube, YouTube does the counter pretty much. It says it's 45 minutes or it's 20 minutes, whatever it is. We don't write that on there. YouTube writes it on there. You can look at the little bar. It goes. So this one person, some years ago, like 2 years ago, I did a really awesome video. Not that all of them aren't awesome, because of course they are. But I did a particularly awesome video on Starry Night.
I remember that one.
And it was going to be long because I had done a wine and painting version of this for years to teaching people 3 sheets to the wind to paint this, and they all did really well. And if drunk people can paint it, imagine what you could do sober with a little more time and better stuff, right? Because I'd done it in painting wine and sip parties for years. So I had this really great video. If you haven't done it yet, it's really good. It's a beautiful explanation of how to do Starry Night, and part of it is on YouTube, and the rest of it is on our website, but it's still free. And this person complained to me because they feel free to comment on their comment if you want, because you can read mine. Feel free to add to it, right? If you want to run over there and do that, I don't care. But I'm just saying this person was annoyed that I didn't tell him the lesson was going to be longer than 40 minutes. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think you can put a quarter in, get an artist out? Is that the idea? I don't know. Just, sorry, that was one of Cinnamon's lines, but I love it.
It's a great line.
It's a great line. Put a quarter in, get an artist out. I mean, come on, give me a break here, you guys. I wanted to explain this so perfectly that anybody could do it, and I know they can because I've seen lots of these paintings come back.
Done thousands
and people
of
have
them.
done beautiful jobs on that because I did. It's an amazing job of explaining to you how to do it, right? All right, so I made a little red and yellow with a little purple, and I'm going to put my little boat in like this. I'll put a little bit more white in that. I want a little bit lighter, a little more yellow. There we go. Here, you're going to be a little lighter here. Here's the boat, like this.
Yeah, I can't believe you wouldn't tell people how long your lessons are.
Yeah, and then they were cheesed. They were annoyed because I didn't tell them that there was going to be longer than 40 minutes. Give me a break. One of the reasons, just so annoying. Put a little burnt umber with that for the roofs now, same color. We're going to come back over here and now look, see this big glob of paint? We're going to wipe that off. Still have paint on the brush. Everybody with me on that? There's this roof right here going on sideways. Yes. And then a little roof here. Now we'll get a little more of this paint just on the tip. You never want to hesitate to reshape your brush. Come on, this is kind of cute, isn't it? The little house. All the little houses. Come on, this is this little village. His village is really elaborate. I did kind of a simple one. He's got a really, you do this bigger, Eric, you're going to have to find this and do all the fun little, you'll like it. It's all these little boxes. They're not hard to do, but you can be all detailed. I know you'll love it, right? So here, we got another one.
That
here.
lady could have just done the first 45 minutes and been done with it. Nobody
could've.
told her she had to go do the rest of it.
Yeah, we didn't tell her she had to do that. I mean, nobody's holding her hand to the fire and say, "Oh, you better do the rest of it. You'll be sorry," or you're not going to get the whole thing. Sometimes it takes a little while to do things. Guess what? I mean, it's just that this.
Do you want a quality painting or do you want
a piece of junk? You know what I mean?
Well, that's going to be a little bit more politically correct on that, but that's all right. That works.
Does that work for you? Because it worked for me. I'm sorry. I was just slightly, and I think rightly so, slightly annoyed. Okay.
Well, I must say that she did spend quite a length of time making a comment.
I did. I made a comment. I'm probably
a lot longer than I would.
Sorry, I'm usually not that snide, but I'm just going, really? This is your complaint? You know, all of the world is flooding over there in South Carolina, and you've got time to write complaints like this. God, give me a break, lady. Just
Yeah.
sorry, right? All right, so let's get this a little darker by the little bit of brown here. Let's get a little bit darker right here by the steeple here. We'll just go back and kind of trim
Make
this
that
up
really
a bit,
punch
right?
out.
See how you can just go back and kind of shave off what you don't like. Now we still got this little brush here, and then you can just little tiny window right here. Don't put windows too much if you've got to make them real small, but you can put a few windows in, little dots of windows. It's always classy when you have a few little windows. Make them small though, don't make them too big. And maybe you want to. It's never a bad thing to have a few little eaves here. You don't want to outline the whole thing. You don't get in the habit of just taking black paint and outlining the whole village, okay? Because you don't want to do that. Now I'm going to rinse the brush and work on the island again. A little bit of raw umber and yellow oxide. And I don't know this is an island, but it's this little piece of land that was in front. Let's put a little white with that. Yeah,
Hey,
little
we'd like
piece
to
of
thank
land.
Michelle for the donation through PayPal. Thanks for all the great tutorials and the laughs along the way. They are helpful dealing with a difficult diagnosis.
Oh, well, Michelle, thank you very much. And we're very sorry you have a difficult diagnosis, if that is the case. And we know that, there's a lot, again, that's exactly what I'm talking about, People like Michelle, maybe you're going through something and you read a comment like that woman's, say, there's a lot of things to complain about that. That probably is, if that's your biggest complaint, how long a video is, then, and that we didn't tell you, that somehow we misled you somehow, right?
I just can't
Wow,
believe
huh?
we would do that. How
Huh?
mean of us.
Yeah, we're just real jerks, aren't we? So anyway, thank you very much. The donations really, I'll tell you what they happened to, and I want to thank Alicia Hugh, who recently did a nice donation for us. And she said, please, and we scholarship somebody else. And she sold one of her first paintings, and Alicia had been scholarshiped, and she said, please scholarship somebody, and we have scholarship somebody else. And
Paying it forward.
and we're paying it forward. We do a lot of that. People don't realize how much of that we do. And well, I have to say that there are some artists now we have turned out, and I got it with great pride. We're going back to the green color now and just kind of going through this white. See what we're doing, kind of poking holes in it.
Breaking it up a bit.
Kind of breaking it up, so just, you just sort of do that. And I'm going to do a little bit of white now and yellow oxide and kind of lighten some stuff up, kind of a light green color. There are some wonderful artists that if you can't imagine, if you're just learning to paint and you can't imagine and a year from now you could be doing some most amazing things, check out our Facebook club, Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook, or check out Ginger Cook Live on Pinterest and look at my 2018 student gallery. Look at what these men and women are producing and selling their art, and it's amazing. Many of them never painted more than a year. And it's a learnable skill, you guys. It's a skill, not a talent, please. Talent is a good idea. Skill is something you learn. It's a skill. And
It's just like writing, learning to write.
Yeah, and I say that to people sometimes. I'm just doing a few more of these little light highlights in the water now, making this a little bit prettier. And the same thing here with our boat.
Oh, here's a great question for you.
Yeah.
If you had to buy cheap paint, what brand would you buy?
Oh.
Now, we've been told that there's a couple good ones out there.
I don't know. Ask Daniel when he comes on, because I don't want to buy it. You know what I mean? Though, you know what? And listen, I'm going to mention Alicia Hugh again, because she is she's a gal. She lives in China. She's never painted, but she started painting with Cinnamon, my daughter, and then caught up with me last December, and started started fine art acrylic painting, and again, she's doing the most amazing paintings ever, and she was using for about a year just student paint. So
she was using Winsor Newton's.
Winsor Newton student paint. So I mean, I'm just saying, you don't.
So.
It's just so much more work. It's the difference between. I'll give you the good example of that. Back when I was a kid, I was never asked to do anything in the house. I mean, basically, I didn't have to do anything. We had people that did it, right? So then when I grew up, and I had to wash my first window in my own house. I had no clue how to do it, but somehow there was a Windex bottle and some directions, and you took a newspaper and you went in one side of the window, and then you went outside, and you went inside, and outside, and inside, and outside. The window was still stupidly streaked. And I mean, I didn't have very many windows. It was a condo. It was just really window, nothing. And I mean, I was all day trying to get this window clean. It was very frustrating, you know. And then I discovered the guy with the squeegee at the store. And he was doing these commercial windows, and he was going, squirt, squirt, wipe, 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 and the window was clean. I thought, this is my problem. I don't have a squeegee. So I went out to the grocery store, and they had them for about $5 back then, about 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Yeah, about 50 years ago. And so then I've got this squeegee. And you know what? My squeegee is not doing what his squeegee did.
His squeegee was probably $50.
He had a $50 squeegee. I had a $5 squeegee. So did I eventually get the windows clean with my squeegee and my newspaper and a lot of swearing and, you know, deciding the sock folder and me, the non-sock folder, decided this is good enough, you know. This has got to be good enough. You could kind of see out now. Yeah, it was, but the better your materials, it's just so much simpler. Just simpler. And just start collecting it a bit at a time. Start off with student grade, then just buy good white, and then just buy a good yellow, and then as you replace it. Don't make such big paintings. If you didn't insist on doing 16 by 20 canvases, you could afford better paint.
Just saying.
Just saying.
And don't forget the brushes. Tool
And
number one.
the tools are everything. It's like that squeegee. Tools are everything. You see? See how we're just kind of knocking that back? Isn't that kind of cool? And I might take just a little tiny bit of the mixing white now, which is, this is zinc white and this is a flow. And I think I want this to even be a little bit more flowy. I'll put a little drop of this there. This
more
is
flowy.
Yeah, a little bit more flowy. This is what they call golden fluid acrylics. And I like the little containers. A lot of times, you know.
They're just so cute. We just buy them because of the containers.
Well, Judy actually, guitar gave them to us, but we would have bought them and then we would have liked them. You know, if we'd bought them ourselves. All right, so what are we doing? What do we know?
That, where do we buy our stuff? Where do we buy our paints at? That came up as one of the questions.
Well, I mean, you know, one of the things that's kind of fun I like to do is I like to go to all the websites that sell paint, and I put everything in the cart and total it up and then see the same stuff in all the different orders and see who's giving me the best deal.
Just like you guys would do.
Well, you know, right? So now I'm going to just take this... Remember, this is clear paint. I'm just going to do this. Kind of smudge this out a little bit.
So you're putting it off and smearing it with your fingers.
Smearing it with my fingers, and I want to make sure I don't have any other color on the paint. I just want to do a little bit of that and just smear it this way. I probably should have dried this first, but there. Yeah, but still I like that. There you go, and I want this to come down like this. I'm going to just bring it down. There we go. Oh, isn't that better? There, and have a little bit going down like that. It looks better, doesn't it? Then we'll come across with a little yellow oxide and break up that color again. See? You can keep doing this, you know.
A comment being made, I would like to learn more about mixing warm and cool grays. I appreciate your tutorials and have learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. So one thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of phthalo blue and white, right? Tiny bit of yellow, just a drop, right? And I made this turquoise color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little color surprise to this lake.
Ooh, love that color.
See, we're going to come next to this, where this little boat is, and just add a little bit of this color surprise to this lake. See? Doesn't take much. And just a little bit, because turquoise is sort of the complement of this orange color, right? And if you just add a little of that, look how pretty that looks. Okay? And it just sort of gives it this nice sort of glassy feeling. This white is a little white back here. So we're going to glaze over that, and I'm going to take a little of this glazing medium, show you a little trick. You could use water if you don't have it because it's such a small amount, okay? That snow is too white, and you see how the snow is competing with our village? Because it's too white.
This came up. What is glazing medium and why do I need it?
Glazing medium is actually sometimes what you want to do is turn on and off the lights. And if you have a light color, you can put a thin coat of something else over it, almost like putting like cellophane, a colored cellophane, and tone back a color. You can only change a color that's lighter. Okay, you can't like glaze over black or anything.
Won't
So
work.
so I want to put these. I don't want this mountain, these white snows, to compete with my white village. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I want to tone that back. So you could use water, and you want to make it like a tea stain with the color, and something this small would probably be fine. And I'm going to start with the clean brush.
The reason we use glazing medium because it's 100% acrylic and it doesn't.
You can make it really thin. You make it really, really thin.
You can take it down to nothing because you can use a glazing medium by itself.
Yeah. So okay. So we're going to put a little bit of yellow oxide in that, just sort of to try that. And I'm going to go over these like this, little yellow oxide, and I want to just push these mountains back just a hair.
And if you don't get enough on the first round, let it dry.
I mean, there's just like really no color on this at all. But what I've done is I've just made sure that this white is not as white as my. Now look at the difference. This white is actually lighter than that white.
Yep.
See, and this white is, this little bow is darker.
So you're not distracting from the star.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd like to thank Andrew for the donation. Hey, from Paris at 3:40 a.m. here.
Oh my gosh! I was wondering what happened to you, Andrew. Really?
Good show. I liked the new Old Dead artist tonight.
Yeah, he's fun, and you got it. We have some American artists that could kick butt. Really, no kidding.
And we're going to bring them out. We're going to show people.
Let's talk about these guys for a minute, okay? So I'm going to lighten up this hill a little bit now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. So appreciate it. And I'm so thrilled that you're watching us from Paris. I was just thinking about Andrew today, and because I hadn't heard from him in a while. Big going on in Andrew's family. His daughter's getting married in
very soon.
Well, I guess right after Christmas or something. But you know how it is with weddings that people plan months in advance. There's lots to do. And the house is all getting ready for that. So I'm going to lighten up this hill a little bit. See,
our hearts go out
dry darker. So see how I'm lightening this up next little layer, just a little bit. Bring that out, and then particularly right here too. I just feel like we don't have it light enough. Right next to. I want to make sure that we're saying that these hills here are in front of these back mountains like that. See, so I want to make sure that's in forward. He actually had this in 3 whole separate hills, but we're not doing that.
Not on a 6x8 anyway.
Not on a 6x8. If we did that, that would, you know what I mean. We're not doing that like that. So that's lighter, but then I'll put a little bit of. Now look here. Let me show you something. How you would glaze. See how that's too light?
Yes.
Let me show you how you'd fix that with glazing medium. Can I do that? Let me dry this and I'll show you a neat trick.
We're just going to mute you, folks.
All right, just mute. Watch how this works, you guys.
Silence is golden.
Okay,
and we're back.
So I want to glaze that back because this is too bright, okay? But I don't want to paint over it. So what you can do is take a little glazing medium, maybe just a touch of purple. Let's try that for a minute. See what that does. See how that toned that back? But it wasn't, it's still there, but it's not really light. In fact, I like that. I might even put that somewhere over here too. That's sort of pretty. Might put that on.
I like that.
That's nice, right?
Yeah.
As long as we're playing, right? See? And what it does is it gives another dimension of color. It's really nice, right? And I might even do that with this sail right here. This is sort of pretty here, this sail. Maybe put a little bit here and put it in the water too. There. That's nice, right? So glazing is a very subtle way of kind of getting, something to happen with the, your paints, to just get real dimension. So I think we're going to call this done for now. Oh, you got to glaze over the clouds. Sorry, I forgot that. See these clouds? See? Now, this is the next thing we're going to glaze over. We're going to take a little bit of yellow raw umber, okay, glazing medium, and a tiny bit of yellow oxide. Now, I'm going to just wipe the brush off and make sure I have enough. You can do this very thinly. See, his clouds in his picture were darker, so here we go. So rather than actually have the paint in the clouds, when you paint it, you just you kind of go over them and just tone them down like that. See how
Push
that
back
just
a little
isn't
bit.
that pretty? And that's why you want it. Now, if you were to use water, the problem with using water, which you can do, is that if you get it too thin, if you make the color too thin, it won't adhere, where the acrylic will always adhere. So there you go. There's our picture.
Now, a comment from a sock folder. Why do we have blue bottoms of the mountains on both sides? Right in your corners, down by your water.
Here?
Now go down to the right. Now go right. Now down, and right there.
Well, we could have painted that out because we just got busy.
Well, you know, the sock folders are stressing over here.
Okay, and somebody's screaming, Ginger, paint that one edge, right?
And on this other side as well, please.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to paint that in.
Thanks.
And he had it pretty dark up here, too. So, and he had some real dark, in fact, and that's a good point, because he had some real dark right next to these houses so that they really showed up.
Punch them out
Like
a little
that.
bit further.
See, and right here, too, they just got a little bit dark right there, and then, see, that really brought that forward. So there's some little tricky things you can do, and the same thing with this sail. If we wanted to be too tricky, we could make it a little darker down here on the bank. He actually, in his painting, had more stuff along here, but we can't put it in a 6x8. But you get the idea of how you'd paint something like this, don't you think?
Oh, I learned a lot of techniques on this one.
I mean, there are little different techniques. And again, you know, here's some purple, and here's those mountains again. This is the next layer of glazing. And you can take some of that and even glaze the snow back even more if you wanted in a couple places. You can actually, as long as the glaze is dry, you can go back over it with lots of different colors. It can be very pretty. In fact, you know what you ought to do? Because I can tell you have nothing better to do. What you ought to do is just take like a sheet of, a canvas and make some white strips on it, and then make some colored strips of lighter colors, like light blue and light green and stuff, and then play with the glazing medium and see what happens when you glaze different colors over it. See what you get. Okay? So, I mean, that would be a nifty thing to do, don't you think?
Oh, that would be a very nifty thing to do. Hey,
Nifty?
Ginger, have you ever thought about painting Edward Munch flower painting?
Didn't Edward Munch do the screen?
I have no
I
idea.
thought Edward Munch did the screen.
Well, maybe he did flowers as well.
I had not thought about it, no.
No.
I want to go straight down here with my white now. Do you see that? From here, I want to say, there's my white house right here, like this. Right there. And then I want to come straight down. That's another thing you want to make sure that you're going straight down from where you did it, right? So let's make sure that, let's just get this top of this building up here like that. All right, I think we're pretty good with this, and I think I'm going to lighten up this boat just a hair. There we go, just to say a little bit.
Yes, he is the person who did the scream, and apparently he has done flowers.
Okay, but we have the scream coming.
What?
We have the scream coming, and
Oh, tell me more.
you guys want to see it? Because this is coming up. It's going to be it's coming up. It's going to be a surprise lesson on YouTube.
You don't want to show them?
I'm going to make this boat a little bit oranger.
You want to keep it a secret?
Acrylics dry darker, so I need a little bit oranger on the boat. Guess I could show you.
You don't have to.
You know,
I can keep it a secret.
we've got an Edward Munch painting coming up. Okay, so now here we go. Let's see. Gonna make sure I have at least some couple houses I want a little bit brighter, the roofs. So I'm gonna just do a couple that are a little bit brighter. There.
Natalie is painting an Italian spring landscape, so this will go perfect.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
glad we
kind
could
of,
help you out with that.
yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it. So anyway, that's our picture for today. I think we did really well with that. And
you did it
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
just about an hour. Nice job there, boss.
Thanks very much. And we are going to do a 10-minute giveaway painting today.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Wow.
We are.
There's nothing but giving from us.
I'm telling you what. Just and listen again. Thanks.
Okay, wait.
What? What?
Square it up on the canvas.
It's square, isn't it?
It wasn't.
Oh, so it
Oh,
wasn't.
you stressed me out.
So sorry. Sorry, just wanted more of that. Just wanted that to be. He kind of brought his off, so I thought I would too. And you know, because
like
he was,
that.
you know, he was there, and that's what he did.
Well, yeah, he saw it.
Yeah. All right. So there we go, you guys. The Alps. And let's see. I think I want to make this one real dark here. He had like a dark shadow on one
Does
of
Ginger
these.
remember the one that had the torn screen door that she painted over?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I never painting over screen door. Okay. Just make that a little darker right there.
Okay. All right, I think we're good with this one.
All right. We'll stop here. I'm going to just sign it so that everybody knows we're done.
Okay, that means more painting. Yeah, we're done.
No, we're done. I'll sign it. And again, I think we learned a lot about glazing. We learned a little bit about, you know, doing something fun. This wasn't particularly hard once you get the hang of it. You just want to avoid, you know, doing sawtooth mountains. And all right, so we're just going to do
Change
this.
battery pack. Wait a minute, we're about to lose something. Something's not plugged in. Mayday, mayday.
Really?
Well, it should be plugged in. Okay, the earth is shaking while I'm doing this, so just deal with it, people. Why is that? It says it's in. That's plugged in. That's plugged in. Well, if we lose the palette camera, I'm sorry.
All right, so that's what we got so far. And I would probably, when this dries, glaze cook back.
Yes,
when that
you would.
dries, but that would have to be really dry. The Posca pens don't dry immediately like say an oil painting pen, say by Sharpie. Sharpie makes an oil painting pen, but the problem is that they dry really in the pen too. These what I like about the Posca pens is they don't dry for 5 minutes, so they don't dry inside the pen either. You know, we've had them for months. We just love them, almost a year now, haven't we? Love those things.
Isn't this interesting what Eric just brought up?
What?
May I read it to you?
Yes.
Are you ever going to refilm the streetcar that you painted last year?
Oh, Eric, that's so funny because I am going to do it.
That's so funny because
we were just talking about ones I have to do. This is a new one.
Wait, I got to get the zoomer.
Okay, this is the streetcar he's talking about, and this will be a lesson for
our VLL people.
Our VLL people. I still have to put the wires that hook the car up to the stuff that makes it electric. But yes, we're going to eventually finish this.
That is so funny, Eric, you came up with that because we just pulled that off the wall and go, we need to finish this.
Yes, we are. And then here's a new one.
Wait.
No, shall I leave this here?
Nope. Any fall paintings coming? Fall season
fall
paintings?
Funny.
Are you people, are you here? I tell you, it's a live studio audience.
Look at that.
That is gorgeous.
That's a new fall painting that'll be in our video lesson library soon. It's coming up. And coming up this week, wait for it.
Wait, there's still more.
Is this one.
Oh, I love that one.
And this, again, was inspired by another old dead guy. We'll tell you about him later. And don't you love the pink in the sky? And again, this the other one I did of this is one of our auction pieces. If you like this painting and you want an original
It doesn't look like that, though.
It looks a little bit like that.
It does look a little bit like that, but it is different.
It's different. They're both different. I made this guy a little pinker, but I guess we could show it to you. But anyway, we have that as an auction piece, too. And our auction, our auction, I don't know if anybody even bid on it or because who looks.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a gorgeous piece.
There it is. This is the one that's up for auction. Look at the colors in that. Aren't they gorgeous? Because it's been varnished, and you can see the difference when you varnish something. But I made this guy and this one a little pinker, but that's the auction piece that we have available. And this will be the lesson for this week in our video lesson library, 9x12. And I'll tell you a little bit about this old dead artist. And look at this cool little cabin that's back here. What are we calling that? New Hampshire Lake?
No, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Why would that be New Hampshire?
I don't
That's
know.
not New Hampshire. That's Wisconsin.
It was a Wisconsin lake. We know we're calling it that. So that look, you guys, if you're a member of the Academy and the video lesson library,
look for those babies.
Look for that. And then another one that's coming up, you guys, that's coming up as a lesson is this one. This was done by a Russian artist, the lilacs out the open window. And if you remember, Mary Cassette did a really, I think Andrew painted that one, did a wonderful painting. We have a tutorial of on the website already by Mary Cassette of lilacs in a window. And this is a Russian artist who did it about the same time. So I think that's really cool. And then I wanted to show you this because this is a lesson, this is I think it was one of our 10-minute quickies we're doing on YouTube later that will be released. And it's called What Makes You Scream. And this is an Edward Munch, The Scream. But I have the computer there with the blue screen of death. What makes you scream? So that's coming up. So exciting stuff, you guys. If you enjoy painting, and people said, I have so many things on our wish list. Well, there's a lot of different ways to paint things, and there's a lot of different subjects. Not everybody wants to paint boats and old mountains. Some people want to paint flowers. Some people want to paint windows. Whatever you want to paint, we have got tutorials for it. Amazing stuff. All right, so I'm coming along here today. We're going to do a quick giveaway. And this, again, is for our audience that is currently watching us as we film this live. Now, if you happen to be catching this at a later date, today happens to be September 16th, okay? So if you're watching this later...
September 16th, 2018.
So now I've got to,
Just in case it's still around for 100 years.
Yeah, so we're going to do something. I'm going to do another little, I think I'm going to do something else here. We're going to do, we'll do this. I'll keep this. So as we're talking, I'm just going to do this 10-minute painting giveaway. Does that sound fun?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. All right.
Go.
So I don't know how much we can get it done in 10 minutes, but I can answer questions and talk. Does that sound fun?
Is this a YouTube lesson? Is what a YouTube lesson? The one you're watching now? Yes. Everything else you saw? No. The Scream is. The Scream will be appearing in the near future.
Yeah. How fun is that, you guys?
I think it's very fun.
It's absolutely. That's just great fun, right? So, that's one of the things that, let's see, let's get some glazing medium out here. Come on, open this up here. Got to open up the thing. I like the screw on, open up, cap, off, on, that kind of thing. Kind of way glue's done. And it does work. I got to give you that. Okay.
It does. It hasn't really ever... The other side you got clogged one time, but I declogged it.
Yeah, well, you've got to kind of watch it because you can...
you can't get them overdone.
You can, where they kind of glue themselves back together, kind of thing.
No, where did anybody put the entry form?
So I want you to have sort of fun with this. As long as we're painting things, right? Yes and yes?
Yes and yes. Oh, and we will be live tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central.
And if you're asking me what you're painting, I have no clue. Don't you love it? Because I have no idea. We'll all be surprised together, but I appreciate the fact that you're all going to be watching. And again, we have fun with that. That to me is always nice. It's so fun to be able to chat with you guys and paint. I really enjoy this. You can't know. Even these things that I'm doing right now, this is real fun for me. And it's fun that we have fun giving them away, too. This is really fun.
When you paint over something to correct it, sometimes there's an outline ridge left. Can you sand that down or get rid of it in any way at all?
Yeah, well, if you're using tape, you really can't paint over tape. I hate to tell you that. If you've taped it, you're going to have a line there forever. So you almost have to sand it. If you're lucky enough, you may be able to sand it down.
But you're sanding plastic. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's hard to sand it, but I guess it's doable, So, but yes, you can do something. You probably can.
This is my first time watching live. Love your banter on top of the... We do not banter. There's no banter going on here. We are always straightforward.
I want to just, can I throw out something to the studio audience here? I'm not trying to air our dirty laundry in public, but I think this is kind of important, right? John and I had a differing opinion about how to leave the ship today.
Oh, I can't believe you're bringing this up.
But I am. I'm going to bring it up.
OMG.
I am bringing it up.
Get over this.
I'm not over it. I'm not over it. I'm wounded. Just wounded. I'm sorry. I'm wounded. You girls, you tell me. Okay, so we had a piece of...
Okay, go ahead.
Wait a minute. We had a piece of paper that said we could leave the ship at 8:45 and wanted us to go clear way the hell and gone, sorry, down through the casino, the other end of the ship, dragging all our bags.
They happen to be on wheels, four wheels, roll really easy, but go ahead.
Go off for some of us, but of course he had
the heavier ones. And who was taking
the
two biggest ones?
Yeah, and whining about it the whole way, but that's okay. You want me to take the two big ones? Well, yeah. Yes, just yes and yes, right? So anyway, I have noticed when we have gotten off the ship in the past, no one ever asked to see our paper saying which end of the ship we had to get off of, because they were letting people off on both ends, right? So we were getting off the elevator right at the close end where we could just go through the dining room and get off. And he says, no, we can't do that. And I said,
so you don't think
wait, let me see the paper, he says. Let me see the paper. So I hand him the paper. See here on the paper, it said we have to go to the other end. Well, when's anybody asked to see the paper? You don't want to take a chance? Let's try this. We're right here. No, we have to drag it all the way through there. So I don't think we should have to do that. And then he said, now this is the thing. Then John says to me, he says, well, you can do that. I'm going over here. I'll meet you outside. Of course, he's got the passports, too. I said,
so
what?
I knew.
What? He was going to leave me with unbelievable. Don't you think that was just rude? I thought that was so rude.
Okay, you have a piece of paper that tells you what you're supposed to do. You are associated with a sock folder. What do you think we're going to do? Go out on a limb here, Ginger. What do you think we're going to do?
I just think
you're going to follow the rules.
I think it's just so wrong because they've never, ever asked, and nor did they ever ask to see our paper when we got to the other end.
Oh, they never
After
did.
Huffing and puffing with all the suitcases cleared out.
Okay, you're carrying the two lightest ones.
Still huffing
I have a
and puffing.
backpack on the two heaviest ones.
Yeah, but you're a guy. Your job is to carry things for women.
Oh, you're throwing the old woman's lib on me here.
No, I'm just saying that's the. I'm sorry. Did I start? Yeah, no. Of course you're carrying all the stuff, right?
Now you were assuming, and it could be rightly so, that they were actually exiting out that dining room.
Well, I think they were, and I was willing to just give it a quick, because that person was telling people to go that way. So why? Were you just going to tell them to twiddle their thumbs?
That's one of the waiting rooms.
Well, yeah, but I think they were also exiting out that way, and of course, there was a whole group of people that were exiting because you could see them. So obviously, we know they did exit out that way. When we finally got outside, you could see a whole pile of those people exiting out from the other way.
We don't know where they came from.
Oh, yes, we do, John. There's only 2 west off the ship, so we
do know.
You know.
I'm going to get back on that ship. I'm going to go and check out that dining room.
You asked somebody. I'm just saying, I found it really offensive that you said, okay, you go that way, I'm going this way. Unbelievable. I asked you
wanted to go your way. That's fine. I said I'd meet you outside.
Yeah, but no, I just think it was so rude. You never would have left me before. Last year, he never would have left me. He would have caved.
I know better now. You showed me the ins and outs of the ship. See, you shouldn't have done that.
Last year, he never would have left me. Just to fend for myself, he might have said, oh, please, Ginger, can't we please go this way? I have such a strong feeling about it. I might have been willing to do that. No, just okay. just saying, John.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I'm just telling you what. There's some thinking going on here. I just this was a hump. I was humping all the way home in the car too, humping about that, going harumph. Well, I don't think that's too strange, you guys. You know, I'm having fun here. Anybody else having fun with this?
It almost looks like a volcano.
Well,
I'm not saying anything.
Good.
I'm minding my own business.
Yeah, that's right, because you were already at the doghouse for the other stuff, right? So you want to just keep this up,
Move over,
right?
Chester. It's you and me, buddy.
just at the doghouse for sure, right?
Okay, how many entries we got? 235. Come on, people. There's 500 of you watching. Only half of, not even half of you want this lovely.
They don't even know what it is yet.
I
They'll be
haven't
sorry.
got a clue.
They'll be sorry, but he doesn't know what it either. He's talking about volcanoes.
Well, because I have that orange sky. Hello.
Well, you know, we're getting around to that. It just takes a while. We are getting around to this. You know, we got so emotionally involved talking about getting off the ship, which other people I know now that I've discussed it.
Oh, no,
I
see,
want to know
I
what the
just-
comments coming in now are, because I'm sure other people just totally agree with me.
Yeah, I've just been reminded. Rule number 1: Ginger is always right. Rule number 2: if you disagree, see rule number 1.
That's right. That's right. There we go. There you go. There you go, my friends. That's it. That's absolutely it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, that was sort of a funny thing. This was a funny sort of a trip, wasn't it? A funny trip. And then there was that Tony guy, right? I'm mad at him too.
Tony.
Yeah, there was
Before.
some guy we met on the ship named Tony.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, I was so cheesed with him too.
That was really interesting. Rather rude.
Well, what happened was that we had gone up to this one area, and where a lot of people, you know, kind of are meeting, and John was going to meet me upstairs, and there were just a few chairs, and so I had found this other couple. I said, "Do you mind if we, you know, I sit here, John, you know, John's coming in just a minute, and I'd really like to be able to sit here, okay?" And she said, "Oh yeah, no one's sitting here, so the two of you go ahead. That'll be fine. No one has a problem with that, right?" So then this other guy comes along, who they apparently knew from last night. It's not like they were old fast friends or anything. They just met him the night before, right? And he's talking to them and how's everything going and stuff, you know, because you're always friendly on these trips, right? And then he says, "Do you guys mind if I sit here?" And I said, well, I think before he even said that, I said, we've got, you know, I said, I came up early to make sure that we all had seats here, and this is a seat I've got going here for John that's going to be up here just a minute, you know. And so then he says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just sit down in the meantime, okay? So then he does, okay? And then what happens? Well, what happens is that he never gets up. John comes up to and say hi, and he just sits there and says hi. And, you know, what are you going to tell him? You know, you really got to get up because John's here, right? Because you don't, I mean, yeah, how can you say that? You can't say that, right? You can't really say that, no. And, yeah, no, I just thought that was extraordinarily uncool of him on his part to do that. You know, I got to tell you, I just thought that was really uncool on his part. And so I got up then, and John and I just, I said, listen, we've got some stuff to do. Let's just go ahead and leave. We'll go somewhere else. Big ship, right? We'll go somewhere else. So we left, okay? But I got even, you guys. The next night, Tony's wife was up there, and Tony's wife and I hit it off really well. I liked her a lot. Sorry she was married to Tony, but I liked her a lot. And so anyway, she and I were chatting and everything. So then she said, so I caught her up the third night. I caught her up there in the same place, in the same lounge, and Tony wasn't with her. And I said, oh, she says, I'm here, but Tony's coming in a little bit. I says, oh, that's okay. I'll just sit here till he comes.
Little did she know about the history.
She doesn't know what this is all about. I just sit here till she comes. You know, would that be all right with you? So then she and I are having this wonderful conversation. John's kind of walked away from it because he kind of knows what I'm doing because he knows I'm a little evil, right? And so again, she and I are talking, and lo and behold, here comes Tony. And I'm sitting there talking with his wife, and he looks at me, and you can see this sort of dawn of recognition on his face. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, I see the karma has happened here, right? And I said, oh my gosh, here's Tony let me go. Tony, you just sit right down here. I'm just warm. I was just warming this place up because she said you were coming, and I wanted to make sure you had this seat. And then I got up and left. Ha ha.
One-upped.
Well, just take that, Tony. Some of us know how to, be nice, right? Just, I don't know. Isn't that funny? Again, there's a lot of stuff going on the planet. It's kind of silly to be that petty, but I was feeling a little petty.
Well, it's just interesting to see how people behave.
Well, I mean, I know because you're sitting and you're just sort of dumbfounded at the point where you're having to discuss somebody because you don't want to be a brat and say, well, somebody else is sitting there and you can't sit there because that's too rude for words, right? So didn't want to do that, but on the other hand, I don't know. I'm having kind of fun with this. What do you guys think? Is it coming along?
I've got a building. I'm not sure what I'm looking at though yet.
Oh, too bad.
Seems only fair.
Seems only fair. You're looking at clouds, baby.
It's a very pretty sky. I like the water. I like the reflection.
Just I'm playing with the, kind of the people want to know what you do with this blending medium, and that's kind of what you do. Is it just sort of, it's sort of fun. You can come up here in this glazing medium and just kind of make clouds and stuff like that.
Hey, we'd like to thank Sarah Bella for the donation, and it says smiles with a heart.
Okay, I just want to know if anybody else thinks about, what we're saying here. Do you think I was kind of...
No, you one-upped them.
Kind of stuck it to Tony, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, you hate
John,
to be that way.
are you going to announce the winner of Serenity tonight? No, that is tomorrow's night. Exciting event.
Do you have a picture of Serenity we can show tomorrow night?
Of course we can do that.
Because you still have time to enter.
You still have time to go watch this one and enter it.
To enter it, if you haven't entered. So when we were gone, we always, we're very grateful for our live audience that is so kind to
watch
our shows and everything. We're very grateful for that. So we have a tennis, you know what I mean? So we're, again, we're very appreciative. We thought while we were traveling, what we did was I released this, which was a 10-minute video or so, about 30 minutes actually, all told, and painted this. This is called Serenity, and said that anybody that's watching it as pre-recorded, as long as you get your entry in before, I think it was like midnight tonight, wasn't it? Whatever it was, you'll have to read it.
Well, yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be midnight tonight.
You still probably have time to enter to win this, and so if you haven't done it, there is a secret word. The hint is read the poem in the description. And also, you've got to, when you enter, you have to, a little different than the way we do it when we're live, you have to write the words in exactly, the entry link in exactly the way it's done, or you won't be in the right spot. And if you use Contact Us, that won't do it. All right? So that's that. Okay.
That's that.
So
that will be announced tomorrow.
That will be announced tomorrow. Okay. And okay, so I'm just gonna kind of come around here like this, making a little landscape. I think that's fair, right? Some sort of little landscape coming around here like this. We've got a little bit of a kind of some mountains back here. Maybe we'll make some bigger mountains back here. I like that kind of too, don't you? We'll just put some mountains back here. I could do that. Oh, that's fun. Maybe we could put a mountain here. What if you think? What if we suggested there was a mountain here too? That might be fun. I could do that too. I could suggest that there was a mountain back here too. Some sort of mountain that came up this way. It doesn't even have to be here, but it just sort of suggests it's in the sky.
Have you ever been caught on a cruise ship in extremely bad weather? I have not.
No, I haven't either.
Smooth sailing. Even the ones that we did this time, we were supposed to be raining in every single port, and we had 0 rain in the ports.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really kind of fun. Yeah, that was fun. We had a good time. Well, basically what John and I do, people say, well, what do you guys do? Well, as you guys know, because we offer personal art coaching to our Academy members, a good 3 or 4 hours of every day, whether I'm home or away, is spent doing personal art coaching. Okay, that's just what we do. And then we put that means, and how does that work? Is that some people send me in their artwork, and then I look at it and make suggestions on how they can make it better. Okay, and do it through a video system, and then that takes sometimes 2 or 3 hours to upload all that stuff. To get it to where that they can then turn it on later and view it. So if you want to see what that would look like, I'll put a link in if you want. We have some of our artists very graciously volunteered to let us use their video art coaching as examples. All right, so I just want to suggest that there's some water coming back here like this. Okay, we're just going to do this. All right, I think I'm almost done here, John.
You think you're almost done?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm almost done here.
All right, people, last call. Last call.
I want to just
Last call to enter for this landscape with a building looking at a mountain.
that's it.
Okay, got it. See?
See, good.
You thought you could fool me.
Well, I don't think. Why would I try to fool you? I don't think I can. I'm not trying to fool you, darling.
Here is the link. The Tech Bear is putting in the link for the PAC playlist. PAC playlist. Let's just do it all right up.
If you want to see it, that's really nice because it just there's a lot of great examples of what we might might do here, right? We're just talking. I'm just putting some stuff in here into the picture here.
All right, so you're basically done then? All right, we're going to be closing it up.
I'm done, but I'm just having fun here with maybe do a little red boat here,
Hey,
something like that.
don't you have a birthday cruise coming up?
I do have a birthday cruise, and this is so cool because we still have a couple spots open. And January 27th, we're leaving out of Galveston for a week, and this is not a painting workshop. I will bring my paints on board and do some demonstrations. I'm happy to do that. And if somebody else wants to try and bring some paint some. We don't have a place to paint. We're not saying we do anything like that. But again, I'll be bringing. It's going to just be a fun cruise. You get a chance to meet and visit and ask questions. And if you want to bring some art with you and have me make some suggestions on it, I'm happy to do that. All kinds of fun things.
We could do a live pack and film it.
We'd do it a live pack, maybe even film it. Again, we'll have a cocktail party, get to kind of meet and greet everybody, and we got our own private room for that. But again, I can't promise much more than that. But we're always hopeful that great things can happen when we do stuff like this. So, and of course, if you're along, it's going to be great. So,
So to get more information on that,
I'm going to try this and do one little thing here, and then we're good.
Hello, okay. I'm talking. Use the contact us form at gingercooklive.gallery and ask for the cruise information.
There you go.
Yeah. I gotta push the button.
Okay.
Silence is golden. Oh, we're back.
I didn't need to dry it very long. I just needed to dry this so that I could take a little bit of my mixing white and add a little bit of something coming up here like this.
A little mist.
A little mist above this.
A little mist and mixing white.
That's it. That's what I wanted to do. A little bit of mist up above here like that. And just suggest that might be up there.
I'm really liking that whole background.
I think it's just sort of different, isn't it? I just thought it was kind of fun. I just was, kind of just tootling along, playing with this.
Tootling along.
You like that word, tootling? Do you ever say that, tootling?
I have to admit, I have never used that term.
Never used the word tootling?
I'm afraid not.
Well, that's too bad. Tootling is just, you can't beat tootling, man.
Tootling along.
Yeah, can't beat tootling.
Tootling along. Okay, we're going to roll them up, people. Oh, wait a minute. We had a donation come in. Wait. Stop. Susan, thank you very much for your donation. Thank you, Ginger and John.
Oh,
what
that's
she
so
said.
kind. We appreciate it very much. Want you to know that. We really do. Thank you very much. And
I almost forgot. I didn't know.
okay, well, that's good. I want
You
this a
threw
little
me off
darker
when
over
we were
here.
doing the
I don't like that brush. What am I even using that
I gotta
for?
figure out how to do the drawing differently.
Okay, so I'm still playing with my picture, but we're doing the drawing, right?
I am working on that even as we speak.
Okay, I'm going to just play a little bit here.
So the
I
old
just,
question
I can
is,
never put enough colors in something. You know me.
when is a
I just
painting
wanna-
ever done? Never.
Yeah, I just love, putting colors. Just waking it up here.
311.
All right, you guys, this will be sort of fun. Some sort of little.
This will be sort of fun.
All right, there we go. That's it. There, awesome. There we go. Now I
that's
know what I've got here. Just gotta come across here like that.
Where can I find the Serenia video? It's on YouTube in Ginger's
Yeah, we
videos.
just did it. We just did it.
2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning of the week, honestly.
Yeah, we released it last Monday, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Or Tuesday. It might have been Wednesday.
Want some more of this magenta color. I really like this magenta color. I think it's
Tootling
nice.
is a great word. Thank you for the beautiful paintings and the lessons. Well, yeah, tootling is a wonderful word. I just never used it.
Well,
There's a lot of words in the dictionary I have not used. There's a lot of words in the dictionary that I can't even begin to pronounce.
It's all right.
Even with a dictionary. I have to ask Google.
It's all right, John. It'll be. There you go. Just want to put that sky up there.
Patty
like
says, Ginger, you are wonderful. Patty, please don't tell her that.
Why would they not want to tell me that?
I don't know. I think she's trying to bribe you. Oh, speaking of that, we've got the winning number. Alexa, I need a number between 1 and 311.
Your random number between 1 and 311 is 296.
Wow.
296.
You're taking it to the
Well,
end.
that's not too random, is it?
That's very random. Okay. So if I say the name, Susan Copeland is the winner.
Oh, congratulations, Susan. Awesome.
And I'm going to type it in slowly because they're all complaining that they see it before they hear it because of the delay between the two.
So you're going to type it in first?
I'm going to type it in slowly. Yeah, I used to type it in first and then say her name.
Okay, so sorry, Susan.
And that just confused them. So I'm not going to confuse them. Susan Copeland, congratulations. Please use the contact us. Use the contact us on what, Ginger?
www.gingercooklive.com.
No.
Let's try it again. www.gingercooklive.gallery. I've got it. Yay, I'm a winner.
Okay, and how long have we had that website? Oh, 4
I'm
years?
thinking about something else. You're confusing me.
Okay, so now they know who it is. I can now put it in there.
Now they know who it is. They can now put it in there, John. Now they know. And I'm just putting in my little reflections here in the picture.
See, before, I would type it and then say her name, and we're like on a 3-minute delay between you and them. Us and them. The world.
All right, let's just get this
Okay, we
one
can take that off the screen now. Put me back up in the corner.
This is glazing medium. This is what glazing medium does. Just tones it right back. Love it.
Beautiful. That is I'm really tempted not to even let that painting go. That could,
Well, now that you've decided what it is, right?
well, yeah, now that you've really finished it off. That may become a lesson as a bigger lesson.
It could become a bigger lesson, right?
I'm thinking it could be.
We could certainly
I'm
suggest
just
that
loving
there
that
was a
sky.
big. Yeah, me too. And just suggest another mountain back there, just back against there, just something
Hey,
like
we'd like
that.
to thank everybody for joining us this evening. You spent another approximately 2 hours with us of art education.
Hey, thanks, you guys. It was great fun. I hope you had great fun. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now is the time to do so.
Do it right now.
And put the stuff in the playlist. Share the word. Put the word out.
Share the word.
Share the word, you guys. There
We'll
we
be
go.
on tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Set your alarms accordingly. If you're on the East Coast, that is 8:30. Those in Mountain, that would be 6:30.
That's right. So there we are, you guys. What was some? I thought that kind of went with this one. What do you guys think?
Well, they can't think because it's. Well, who's got my zoomer? Sammy? I mean, does that
You don't
back them
think
out?
so?
No. We're good now.
Don't you think they kind of went?
Yeah, they go together.
Kind of a little bit, right?
Yeah, kind of. Just a
Yeah.
different part of the lake or
Just a
whatever
little
we're
bit,
on.
but just part of this. And I know it's in your pictures, but I got to do this.
I knew you would.
Got to just
Are
tone
we
that
ever
back right
done?
there. All right, there you go.
We're
That's
never
it.
done.
That's you. That's it. That's our multicolored sky. I like it. That's what glazing medium's
Hey,
all
we do
about.
want to thank all the moderators that joined us this evening, and I know there was Judy, Tanya. I'm not sure if I saw anybody else go flying by. Sammy, of course, is always at the helm. I think it was just the two of them. You guys did an awesome job. We only had one word go through there that we were. Oh, Elizabeth is there.
Hi,
Sorry,
Liz.
Lizzie. You don't write much, so I don't get to see your name much.
Well, I think there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and of course, again, we decided to keep the Facebook club. We opened it up for new members, and so take advantage of that and join us, won't you?
Won't you? Won't you, Donius? Please, please be our friend. Ginger, do you have anything else you need to say to the folks?
No. Mine's a blank.
Okay, the mind's blank. We're done for the evening, folks. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us.
Bye.
Sammy, Judy, sing us home, boy and girl.
I'm a student, I say
Where's
with
our microphone?
glee,
Turn off the
of
microphone,
Ginger
Sammy.
Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.